Hello, I'm going to try recording a bit of what I call as the eye lens care. Okay, so I got to know that there are some people who are experiencing more of the cataract kind of symptoms, and maybe this exercise would help at least begin um, a little bit into what it may take to go beyond cataract concerns or to reverse in some way the effects on the eye. At least this is what I do to take care of my, I can't say morasses or, or hallucinations, but it's also what we see in our mind's eye, so to speak, in the flash images of our eye, um, or the tendency for us to go into the crystal gazing from our eye lens as the crystal, so to speak, soft lens, and maintaining the clarity of the crystal is important for us to, say, see through the windows of our eye, windows of our body, like the windshield of a car. And we sometimes are in the happy spaces or the not so happy spaces based on also what we see. Yeah. So helping to improve the clarity of vision, to be able to be in the present moment, requires a regular health maintenance practice, which is not into visualization, auditory effects, and so seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling, knowing. And so 6 senses. And the thing about that is, our 6 senses tie in very finely with the stories that is our body. What we see, hear, smell, taste, feel, know, finally tie in with the stories which our body is regularly making. So body is like a spinning machine, okay? Story viewer, yeah? In terms of yoga, one of the reasons the textbooks may have been speaking about impressions and why going beyond impressions is important is because our body tends to weave stories. Our sense organs are connecting between our internal world and the external world, like a wheel, the hub and the wheel, the rim of the wheel. Objects of external um, reference could be things. Yeah, eyes see things, ears hear things. Yeah, um, content, smell. Our sense of smell smells something. So our sense organs connect between the internal and external world. And consequently, the stories continue to get made about who we are, how's life like, um, what do we then interact with the world with, how is the world like. So you either see the rose or the thorn, depending on how we interpret the information, the bits of information, or the form. Um, Plato's theory of form, speaking about the thornness of the thorn or the roseness of the rose. So, and then we have in our database, now thinking database, ways by which to recognize a rose versus thorn from past experiences of them, past impressions of them. And even in the length of this sentence, I have gone into the idea of the thorn and the rose and several references based on my thought line. What I am seeing as one idea relating with the other, the wheel relating with the senses, relating with the thorn, the rose. Yeah. So, and consequently, is what I speak. Everything that I'm speaking is also a story. And that story is also given by how is my internal construct stringing one word, one concept, one idea with the other. And from there is a story that I cannot say churn, but it's from my speaking that there's a creation of a story or there's a narration of a story. Paying attention to our impressions, that is, um, about rose or a thorn, for example. There's a story about, oh, thorn is good. Yeah. The other day I was walking in the garden and a thorn snagged on one of my dress, and consequently I stayed a moment back. And so that prevented from a further incident happening. So that was a good thing. Thorns are not so bad. Could be my story about it. Yeah. For another person, oh, thorn is bad. Yeah. So we're creating our narratives of our life, of our impressions based on past experiences or our present moment experience. And consequently, those impressions may be good for somebody or bad for somebody. In terms of yoga, I'm calling it in terms of movementless yoga, it is important to regularly digest these impressions so that it's like cooking vegetables. When they are digested and the inner stuff, the inner essence is then taken, and then better weaves, better stories are made. Probably the impressions would be seen in perspective. At that point in time, that thorn was seen, and that was a story I made about my impressions of a thorn. So I was impressed by a thorn. Like, oh, thorn is good. Yeah, not bad. So those impressions would be seen in context. So it's like a memory is tagging every experience. Could be with emotions, it could be with intellectual thought lines, um, lexicology, yeah, the meaning tree. And what movementless yoga makes available is it helps to rearrange the tags. So the story is different, the relationships are different. So it requires then to also pay attention to, oh, this is the story that's happening. This is the direction of the story. And this is happening because of this node. And then once that is recognized, a, a brain, I consider a whole body to be related, like in the idea of the homunculus, where the whole body is the brain. Yeah, whole body is a heart, whole body is ears. So we think with the whole body, that sense. So the brain is not just here. From my understanding of the anatomy and physiology of a human being, we think with the whole body. Yeah. And it's when we notice which direction is our story going that we are then likely to catch ourselves, and then our means for changing or paying attention to what's happening is our sense organs. So it could be what we see, hear, smell, taste, feel, know. In fact, all of them are working in their own ways because we are an alive person. So it's not like at this point in time, I'm going to see and only see, or I'm going to hear and only hear. That isn't how, it's not like a, a computer where we open a software and only that is working. Yeah. So we are, and awareness in that sense is from paying attention to, I'm seeing this, I'm hearing this, I'm smelling this. And it's in the moment and it's dynamically happening. All of them may not be functioning, but our body is also like an organic computer. Yeah. So there are several programs. The seeing program, hearing program, smelling program is functioning. Maybe the feeling program is not functioning as much at this point in time. Yeah. Another experience where there's a nice breeze and there's all flowers in the garden, and so then maybe the feeling program is more functioning. Yeah. Now, having said that, paying attention to our eye senses may also be noticed. When you notice, you're tending to more see things. There's a lot of visualization happening. So the seeing program is functioning more often. Yeah. Often. And consequently, the stories that is being made from the seeing impression, as in the seeing as the gateway between the in and out. Our relationship with our world is more the story, a relationship with the story of the relation of our relationship with the world is more given by the seeing programs when we are aware of that than by the hearing programs, yeah, versus smelling programs. Six senses is when we can then pay attention to what may be happening in the health of our universe. So we consider each person is a universe in and of ourselves. Can you excuse? Then it becomes easier to pay attention to that sense organ whose lens may be getting a little more cloudy, and consequently, the health of the people of our life. Yeah. There's the idea of the human morphic resonance field. Yeah. Each of us are related with our own genetic family tree, genetic, epigenetic. So there are several depths in these relationships. We may not be related with the bacteria who just came in our neighborhood because somebody went to the market. Yeah. And so that strain is different from the gut flora that's part of our biological make, all the way from mother, father. During my time, during the child's time in the mother's body, womb. Yeah. Consequently, um, what um, the relationship with the bacteria in the neighborhood and the gut instincts with the parents is much more finer. Yeah. So when we take care of our eyes, for example, if you're more given in by the imagery, and we are taking care of our visual senses, the impressions given by the clarity of the eyes, which may be because we haven't taken care of the eye faculty, eye program, eye faculty, anytime soon. So that's like we have heart, lungs, different organ systems, and each of them require their own maintenance. Like a house, every house has many rooms, and when we take time to take care of the health of those rooms, we won't have concerns. Yeah. So I have tended to, in my worldview, I got to know that there are people dealing with eye concerns. So that's more like, okay, maybe my eye faculty, my eye program needs a little more care so that I'm not getting any eye concern. And people in my genetic make are going to less experience eye-based concern because I'm also related with them. So when I take care of myself, my people also get taken care. When I take care of my heart, people in my genetic make are less likely to also get heart conditions because of what I'm doing in my life. So with children, how we do in life, what all we take care of, also has an effect on the health of not just us, contemporaries, future generations, or epigenetics. Yeah, the kind of bacteria that comes around because of also how we influence also by circadian rhythms, by the stories that we make, the stories that we are, and the time, care, effort we make to take care of our own health, of the quality of our life, what we do, what we pay attention to. So that is also based on impressions. If we like the world we see, yeah, then we pay attention to fine details. And accordingly is wake up in the morning to, yay, it's a beautiful day, or, oh, it's another day. Yeah. So, um, so in this exercise, I am to also take care of my eye, because if you notice how much I'm going into imagery, um, so maybe this will help my people um, be able to also take care of their eyes. I also need to take care of my eyes, but WHO's global list of diseases says I'm not the only one imagining. Yeah. Um, with a lot of eye work. Um, so maybe this exercise will begin to bring a little thought on at least um, a little bit warm up into the practice of taking care of your eye. I can't say program because we are so used to talking computeries, the language of computers, computer. So, okay, we stay with the imagery of the what we started. So there is the idea of the body as a computer. Okay. Mm. Okay. I was thinking more that we are like movie makers. Yeah. Computer is more a little more limited kind of an image because that's like a thing, and we are like in like a vehicle, but also creators. We constantly create stories, not just stories. We make the movies of our life. We also make the sound, the audio. Well, they're all part of the thing. So it's not just an organic computer. All right. So how am I working on a kind of moving progressively forward is as I call it a progressive house. Yeah, we go talk in terms of genres of music. Is I'm paying attention to what I'm seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling, knowing. Six senses. And I'm paying attention to them as I'm speaking. So it's awareness, mindfulness, present moment, appreciation based narration or speaking. And when I'm going to exclude something for the sake of something, then I'm going beyond. Yeah. So that's also part of the weave. Yeah. And what I speak depends on what I have spent time taking care of my body of. So we consider that the heart is also a storage space for stories, heart stories that can be contained in the heart cupboard, so to speak. Yeah. Or stories that be contained in the skin department. We consider that the body has 12 organ systems. And I regularly take care of my different departments. Yeah. And consequently is the impressions. In Chinese or Japanese tradition, they call it as cleaning the inner dam. Yeah. So it's also kaizen, where you regularly digest and make fine the movement based. Movement is also circadian rhythms. That's also movement. So when you improve, say, the movement of a wheel, then the vehicle is functioning, is moving fine. Yeah. If you don't, then it could require some work. Yeah. Some care. So the Zen, so to speak, the presence that's available from regularly taking care of the movement, that's also a bodily make. It's also Kaizen. Continuous improvement. But for that, the wheels of continuity need to be paid attention to. Yeah. Now, it may seem like I'm moving from one topic to another. So I will just pay attention to the I bit. Now, one of the difficulty I'm facing with speaking this is I'm not speaking to a person. I'm basically speaking to a screen. So my internal sensory organs are not engaging with another person, but with a screen, with my own image, face. So my sensory organs, eyes, are seeing myself in a mirror image. When I'm moving my hand, the image is capturing that. So my narration of this is given by what I can see and what I can hear at this moment. And I'm not listening to anybody else. I'm in the space of this room. So my sensory faculties are engaging with what's in the present moment. So sharing this exercise is having a challenge. Yeah. If I was interacting with another person, the conversation would be limited to what I'm speaking to that person. And if that conversation is captured, then that would be able to be shared. But sometimes what we want to share is not exactly in an ideal set of, it's not a theater unless we have that kind of a production capability. Yeah. Where we have something to say and then an entire movie is produced to convey that message, or a song is created, or a text is written. So, okay, so which may be why this video is having these different dynamics. Now, if you're able to relate with your own personal experience, yeah, in terms of our internal engagement and external, so there's a task at hand, and why we may be getting distracted in our own narration, in our own creation of the matter, is because of the engagement of our six senses within and outside. I may be repeating myself. So, paying attention to the eye lens and improving the health of it requires paying attention to the present moment. And the present moment is, I could be taken aback by, oh, the bus that I can see. Yeah. There's this road, and then there's it's a red bus and it's moving in this direction. And then I'm not in this present moment. I'm in the movie that I can see. I'm in the television. Even though I'm not watching a television, it's much like I'm seeing things and I'm watching television. You could spend days or a large part of the day watching television, your own eyes, stories, and then, oh yeah, this happened. You could say daydreaming. Yeah. And we have things to do during the day. So if you're given by our actions are given more by what we're seeing, that affects, well, we still have a life, we have a quality of life, but what is our story of our life woven by? So eyes. So what I just did is I was speaking about the eyes and the story of, oh, this the red bus, yeah. And my sensory organs, intellectual processes, so the knowing sense is trying to complete the sentence that I started. And so I need to, it started one place, it comes to complete the sentence. So I'm also aware of, is the sentence getting completed? And this came about as I've been making videos since some time. Yeah. And my attention to detail that right now I'm also working on complete what you started. So the sentences needs to, make sense. I'm yet to come to the grammar of it. It needs to be short sentences, and what starts in one, you need to complete the context and then go to the next. So I'm yet to come there. So right now I'm on it's a rolling movie. Yeah, so it's a progressive house. There's one goes to the others. Yeah, so I'm not really writing a text here. And I know I tend to go on rolling on sentences, but that kind of text is also given by how I live life. So it's a continuity. There's one thing relates with the other. It's all a beautiful world. It's a, is it like a river keeps flowing? Yeah, so that is my composition. Yeah, how I see life. It's all one role, and so we create things if things are working, and then yeah. So there are different moments, and then you work through the things. If something is not so fine, life rolls. That need not be another person's way of looking at life. Yeah. So what am I saying is our creatives speak about the worldview we have, but also speaks about the health of the story, the weave that's our body. Yeah. So um, coming back to the eye sense, because my point of reference is okay, there's a pause in this thing. So my own sensory faculties need to say, okay, this topic has now come to a pause. If I was speaking with another person, I would get a feedback from the other person. Oh, you're getting distracted. You're going somewhere else. So I'll be back more. So I have another point of reference by which to come back to the topic. Yeah. And so I hope you notice there's a behavior change from what you've been constantly doing. So I have been making videos. So my point of reference is the person in front of me, which is my own image that I see. And how much have I worked on improving the quality of my videos, or what I'm sharing, depending also on the feedback that I've gotten. Somebody says, okay, make more short, tiny shots, or no comments. So I continue to do what I'm doing, depending on how much there is this interest to share. Yeah. Okay. So having said that, maybe I should edit a bit of this. That is when I know that videos can be edited. And that takes a little bit of learning. And then how to edit it to then make it into a particular kind of a movie. Yeah. So it's over time that these learnings come. This needs to be done. This needs to be in place. So then there's a workflow. Yeah. That's also how the story of what we create, or how to bring about a certain affect gets improved. Yeah. And that takes regular practice. That is, if we care enough to work on that kind of a creative. Yeah. Versus, oh, I just made a video and then posted, and then that's not my interest. My interest is in cooking. Yeah. So that would be what focus of attention is. Now, eyes. I'm paying attention to the back of my head, about this region. Yeah. There's a pineal gland, but there tends to be a tension about here. Yeah. That is when you're able to pay attention to the skin in this area. The There's a frontal bones of a skull. Okay. Frontal, parietal, yeah, frontal, parietal, temporal, occipital. So there's a suture here between the parietal bones and the occipital bones. Yeah. It's kind of said to be like a window, but rubbies, for example, wear a small cap here. Yeah. When I'm speaking, I'm also paying attention to the tension in this region. Okay. So that's the skin sense. That's not the only place. But there's also what my fingers can feel. There's a different tension in each of my fingers. Left hand versus right hand, the tension of my left hand versus right hand is different because of, well, the nervous composition. The right side of my brain tends to have innervations to the left side of my body. And the left side of my brain tends to have um, innervations to the right side of my body. And depending on how I maintain the balance between my left and right sides of the body, there will be differential tension. Yeah. And um, consequently, how the fingers of my left hand feels, the tension of them, different from the tensions in the fingers of my right hand. So I'm paying attention to the skin sense of different parts of my body, and I'm tending to pay attention to only certain parts. You could say, how much of variations can you handle? Yeah. So my skin is present all around my body, but unless there's pain, I pay attention to some parts more than others. So I've been tending to pay attention to my hands, fingers, my head, my ears, yeah, certain parts of my head, certain parts of my body where I notice, oh, it's better to pay attention to these because they protect health, they maintain health of my life. So I tend to pay attention to them more. And over time, it's when you discover that these parts of your body keep you safe. So when you take care of them more, you're less likely to get into trouble. Yeah. This awareness comes over time. And then there is how to take care of them, such that I can speak and they are doing their job and I'm maintaining safety. And I'm also maintaining continuity of what I can do, being in the present moment. So I'm not too much in my internal world, oh, my heartbeat. Yeah. Um, or too much in the external world. So there's a balance between the internal world and outside world. Okay, right now it seems like when I'm speaking on the video, I'm more in my internal world than external, or I need to make an evaluation. Whatever is, pause the video, go back, and then see where's the balance more. And then about, am I staying on the topic? So I really need to take care of my eyes. Yeah, I may be going so much by ideas. Okay, communication challenges. I need to pay attention to communication between what I can feel, sense, and communicating the matter. So that's again awareness faculties. Yeah, I've been more in research than about sharing my work. So communicating with people. So the social networking system, the fine details about the social networking system, I'm yet to work on them. Yeah, clearly from what I've shared. Okay, now having said that, I have been mostly focusing on maintaining being healthy. Yeah, and alive. So people around my people, they have the benefit of how I'm taking care of my own bodily composition. And consequently, genetically, yeah, epigenetically, how my stories are um, getting affected by, for example, energy manipulation tactics. Yeah, somebody's blessing, somebody's cursing. And then what do I do to turn around the matter? So people could be blessing, cursing, etc., etc., and that has an effect on my body. So one of the things I do as I'm speaking is pay attention to my sensory faculties, my sense and sensibilities. So I can notice, oh, something is happening, and then I need to. So uh, the tension of my skin changes according to the blessing or curse. Yeah, and then I need to turn it around. So I call it as digestion. So there are influences from the environment that I need to digest, like food going into my body. Experiences are also food, and they also have an effect on the body. Yeah. So what I see is also by the health of my eyelens, the health of my body, but is also given by the influence from the environment. For example, there's a screen that I'm speaking to. So there's a radiation effect. Yeah. So I could be given by the effect of it on my eye. And so I may not be able to be as present as I would like to, because the person of the computer, if you regard the computer to be a person, has an influence on me right now. And it could also be because of the software. Just like when I'm speaking with another person, there's a software of the person and the hardware, that's the body. Similarly, there's a computer, hardware, software. And the program that I'm working on right now, I'm speaking on Zoom. Or it could be WhatsApp, or it could be any other software. So it's like different identities. Yeah. Depending on which identity or which software is running, the person interacts with you accordingly. So when I'm interacting with the person of the computer, depending on the software running, I'm influenced, my thought lines are influenced based on the software. Yeah. So I could be speaking with a person who's at a point in time all thinking about, oh, daughter, yeah, I'm a daughter. This is what a story is running in the background. The program that's running is, oh, this happened. I was speaking with my dad. This happened. And I may be speaking with an employee, but the employee is functioning by the software of daughter. Yeah. So then the direction of the conversation, what is spoken, the content, the emotional content, the relatability would be different. Yeah. And consequently, the outcome, how long do we take to finish a conversation, may also be given by which is the software running. Yeah. But that could also be because, oh, there's something happening in their life, which is then simmering in the back burner, and that is influencing the present moment appreciation. It's coloring the present moment's activity. Okay. Now this may seem like a theoretical performance here, but it's more like a live. So getting a little more comfortable sharing my work. So all right, yeah. So I'm speaking so much because I came prepared with, I'm going to share more about the eye. Yeah. Okay. When I'm practicing by myself, taking care of my eyelens, I don't have to speak to anybody. Yeah. I don't have to share my yoga. So consequently, I can just take care of my eye. Yeah. When I have to speak it, there are so many faculties involved. So I'm going kind of several places. Now, I'm bringing my attention to my eyes. Yeah. And I'm noticing the coolness of my eyes. Yeah. And I'm noticing the tension of my eyelids, the tissues of my eyelids. Yeah. So, which means the inner canthus and outer canthus. So, yeah, the inner point, this, and the outer point. Yeah. That's about the boundaries of my eye, the shape of my window. Yeah. To the world. Excuse me. And having said that, there's also the temperature. Is it hot? Is it warm? Is it cool? Is it cold? So pay attention to that. Um, and then there is also, okay, I need to tell that this awareness comes over time. It's like a baby learns to walk, first needs to pay attention to several details, balancing, and then once there's a hold of the balance, there's more walking forward, not just standing. Balancing is fine, then walking, yeah. To over time, once that is mastered, then comes the running bit. So now we don't have to think about run and get that, yeah. Unlike a baby learning to every fine details. So awareness of, for example, the coolness, warm, cool, hot, cold. Awareness of the tension of your eyes. Um, Awareness of, okay, back of the head or fingers, left hand versus right hand. They come over time. They build on top of the other. Yeah. And then there is how to pay attention to. So you're not getting lost in the internal world or the external world. So there is several fine details. And they all come together in stages of awareness. Okay. Having said that, paying attention to eyes, noticing the tension of also the eyeball. For example, glaucoma. People who have glaucoma have a tension in the eyeball, which is a little, you can notice it quite distinctly. Sometimes your eyeballs have a different color, a certain yellowing. That's also from the dura. Dura is one of the meninges, the skin of the brain, one of the three skins of the brain. Yeah. Which also has an effect on the bluishness of the eye for a baby. Yeah. Eyeball. It's a bluish white tissue, dura. So they have an also influence on the eyeballs. And when there is clarity, when we are maintaining the health of the brain sufficiently, they also have an effect on the quality of the eye. That is, when you have taken time to take care of your eye, yeah, then the quality of it is different. And I've noticed that it used to be kind of yellowish earlier. And as I've been paying more attention to my eyes, different parts of my body, the yellowishness slightly reduced. So now it is manageable, kind of, not too yellowed. Yeah. So, all right. So awareness has these benefits. Then, okay. So coolness. So I notice how hot it is. When it's hot, my brain is like pressure. Yeah, like computer. The fan is not on and it's kind of like pressure. And that tends to also show up as heat from the eye or here. So hot-headed people, yeah, nervous tension. They need more nervous regulation. So taking care of the quality of the eyes, the lens is also by the heat, the tension in the eyes, the distance between the eyeball and the surrounding tissues, extraocular muscles. Yeah, because they could give rise to tension in the eyeball um, between the skull and the eyeballs coordination. So you want to do something, but your eyeballs are moving in another way because there's a tension between what's happening in your brain and how the relationship with your eyeballs. Yeah. Because the left side hemisphere maybe on doing certain activities, right hemisphere may be doing certain other activities, and our left and and our left and right need to finally coordinate. Yeah. So there are several faculties by which our body is functioning. Yeah. Maintaining being alive and doing the work that we are functioning by. So software, hardware. So you see Jivatma Paramatma or the software, hardware. Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira. Yeah. That's also a reference for software, hardware. So I'll make a better video. As I'm practicing this, the taking care of the eye lens video will be much more simpler, but you got to begin somewhere. Yeah. So over time is how the algorithm gets better and you get a 60-second video of taking care of your eye lens. We'll come to that. Yeah. All right. Now, coolness of the eye. Cool. Okay. I'm paying attention to coolness of my eye because I've been doing this work since some time, so I'm noticing more coolness. So you could be noticing warm, hot, cool, cold, tension of your eye tissues. Yeah. If you have stuff laden in your eye, yeah, your eyelids could be a little droopy because of stuff that is weighing on you. Yeah. So your eyelids could be having a lot of unprocessed, I can't see images, could be unprocessed images. Yeah. And consequently, they're kind of heavy with, it's like the working memory brain. There's a lot of things in your working memory. So your processing speed is likely to be a little slow. Yeah. Because there's a lot of things going on. Similarly, you could be more having a difficulty visualizing, yeah, or looking ahead in life when there's so much of heaviness in your eyelids, images that needs to be processed, past-based impressions there, and then they're sitting there, and yeah. Consequently, looking ahead in life is like it's a heavy roof, yeah, and you need to digest some stuff to then have the clarity of, yeah. So your ability to see is not weighed down by past-based impressions, past-based image impressions. And then there is, of course, hearing impressions and feeling impressions. The eye lens is also a protein. Yeah. And this protein um, requires you to pay attention to tension between left and right eyeballs, and also even in the left and right eyes. Let's just say the left eye, the tension between left and right eyeball, the distance between the skull, the eyeball, and the skull bones, the distance between them. Why left and right? Because we also have the front and back. The front, there is no bone, but behind, there is the bone, yeah? The eyeball, eye socket, yeah? That is also important. If you have, say, glaucoma, it could be a little more bigger kind, yeah? And the tension, the pressure of the eyeball in relationship with the eye socket would be different. So that awareness is also important because that will affect the expansion contraction of the lens, yeah? Because they are tissues, they are proteins. So paying attention to any sense of moisture in your eye, any sense of warmth in your eye, any sense of softness around your eye. Your eyes are eyeballs are fluid. So paying attention to warmth of your eye, around your eye. Okay. Warmth of your eye, because a body is a human body, warm-blooded people. So blood is likely to be moving around. So that will help heal what may be kind of congealed in the nerves, in the muscles, in the tissue composition of the eyeball, tissue composition of the muscles, extraocular muscles around the eyeball. Yeah. So paying attention to warmth have those benefits. Your muscles may be more oxygenated. Yeah, for example, or the nutrients may be more reaching them because the capillary tension, yeah, between the muscles and the blood, yeah, would be better. It's like the windows are fine and the channels are all better open, so they can talk to each other better. So something that is not working, waste, maybe more getting eliminated. So the tension in your eyeball would be less. Yeah. So the toxins, if there is in the different tissues, is lesser, which means you're more healthier. Yeah. And that is good for maintaining the health of the protein, which is also your eyelens and your extraocular muscles and your eyeball and the fluids and your bones and well, the whole composition. And that would bring to a little bit of attention to the iris. We have the eyeball and we have the iris, yeah, which is the black, for example. You can feel it. Yeah, I know. I'm giving all of this work, but there are exercises by which you can become more aware of them, but aware of them in such a way that you're not going to harm yourself anytime soon. Yeah. So, but a little bit of awareness, mindfulness, present moment appreciation in terms of warmth, not hot, warmth, softness, moisture. Over time, will make it more easier to be able to notice, oh, there's the left versus right eyeball. Yeah. And it's all hot. Yeah. Then it's not hot, warm. But when you notice, in terms of warmth, the hotness is probably less likely to bother you. But you could also notice, oh, there is hot. But you're noticing in terms of warmth. So you're more in the safety zone. Pay attention to warmth. And over time, you'll notice, okay, that is hot. It's cold. Yeah, it's cool. But warm is nice because we are warm-blooded animals. So we are staying on the threshold of fine, normal, comfortable, and it's also safe. Okay? It's going to take some work. But when you can notice your eyeballs in terms of warmth around there, in terms of moisture around there, in terms of softness around there, you could also notice space if you can, because your eyeballs are in the space of the eye socket. So that will help you notice the distance between your eyeball and the surrounding tissues. Yeah. So maybe this begins a little bit of eye care. Yeah. And over time, it becomes easier to go beyond uh, eyeglasses, maybe. Yeah. Because your eyes are trying to see something, lens are trying to see something, and then there's a tension, and then there's a thickness of the glasses. So there's a lot of variations that your eyes are dealing with, being able to make sense of the world, not to mention the things that are happening outside in your life. And yeah. So maybe a little bit of pressure less in your eye will then have you have the bandwidth to deal with the other things that you need to deal with in life. Yeah. So this will be one tension you don't have to deal with. Okay. And that could also be coming from your family members. They need to take care of their eyes. They may or may not have seen this video or the length of it, or that some person is, me, is trying to make a video about it. Yeah. But nevertheless, when you take care of your eyes, your family members, um, your neighbors, future generations, yeah, would all do finer from how much the stories of your make, stories of your present moment, is also woven by the breaths that over time kind of congeal to form the body that's our human make. Yeah. As a embryo to baby in mommy's womb. Yeah. It's a breath of life that then forms our body. So when we pay attention to our eyes, this is from the tissue texture. We are improving the breadth of our life. Okay. So our ability to relate with the breadth of our life may be difficult because our breath of life has formed into the weave that's our body. So we could pay attention to the weave of our body and improve health and consequently the breath of our life. Yeah. So it's a different method of yoga. Yeah. So over time, there's a fine coordination between several aspects. And all right. So I hope this gives you pause for thought. I'd be glad to clarify interacting with you in person is likely to reduce the length of the conversation, but it's also possible that several faculties, that's your body, that's the story of your life, also gets addressed when you have a one-to-one conversation, because my body's paying attention to several details. So I don't know what all health concerns get addressed in one conversation. If you're working with a group of people, I would be working with the health of several people's body composition. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been of value to you. Good day.